I'm gonna give it a couple of seconds. Okay, I'm gonna give it a few more seconds and then we are going to get started. I'm running a little bit behind today, but y'all know I'll get started if it's just me or if it's 2 or 3 people. So and this is water. I'm not drinking in the middle of the day, although I could. I'm not. I just think drinking water out of a wine glass tastes better, but that's just me though. All right, so I am going to go ahead and get started regardless of if anybody is on. So if you are catching the replay, please be sure to comment still so that I know if this resonates with you or that I know that this is valuable to you and if this is what you needed to hear today, okay? So I am going to give a disclaimer. This is a topic that is probably going to be sensitive and touchy for most of us, right? And I get it. Let me make sure. Y'all hear me? Hold on. I hope y'all can hear me. Okay, so this is a topic that is going to be sensitive and touchy. I get it. But I do feel like it is a topic that needs to be addressed, okay? So I am going to go there today. I am going to go there. All right. So you're going to see me looking at my notes because this is such a critical and important topic. I don't want to miss any important key point or element that I need to touch on today, okay? So if you see me looking at my notes, that is exactly why. So welcome. Today we are really going to go there. We're going to talk about the plight of the Black business. And I specifically help beauty brands, but this really can apply, and this topic really can apply for any Black business, especially e-commerce, even service-based businesses, okay? Is there a lack of support? Okay, why do we think that is? And then what can we do to really combat that is what we're going to really touch on today. Okay, so let me just get into the stats. The stats show that African Americans make up 14% of the population. Hey y'all, hey Minnie. But only 2% of those businesses, okay? Only 2% of businesses that are owned in the US are Black businesses. Okay? Now, let's take it a step further. And in comparison to our other counterparts, right, and other cultures and other races in our community, the Black dollar, our dollar, leaves our community faster than any other culture or race. That means that when Black people get funds in their hand, right, Black or African American, whatever you want to call it, our dollars leave our community within days, sometimes probably minutes or hours. Our other counterparts, it may be weeks or months before their dollars ever touch another community outside of their own. So I want you to think about what that means. That means that while we have a higher spending power, while we have a higher buying power than probably anybody else, our dollars do not stay within our own community as long as our counterparts. So that proves the fact that, yes, when it comes to our own businesses, our dollar leaves our hand quicker. Now, there is the concept that there are less Black owned businesses in comparison to our counterparts, so that may have something to do with it. But the fact of the matter is we're spending our money with other people a lot quicker than we are with our own. And so let's talk about that. But first, let me introduce myself to those who are watching for the first time. And I know, again, a lot of people catch the replay. So even if you're watching the replay, I'm introducing myself to you. My name is Fatima Barnes, and I am a business strategist. And I help beauty brands that are stagnant. I help those beauty brands transform into a premium or luxe brand, raise their prices, and then build out a marketing machine. And we do that by restructuring, rebuilding, and relaunching your brand so that you are set up for success. And we do all of this without you burning out on social media, okay? So if you're interested in me helping you or working with you after this, feel free to click the link in my bio and schedule a discovery call. I would love to talk to you about how I can help you, okay? So now let's get back into it. So I told you I was going to be looking at my notes because it's too important for me not to look at the notes and completely go off the dome. While I understand the plight of Black businesses, understand this. You can be Black and run a successful business, okay? Focusing, though, on the negative aspects of being a Black business owner actually hinders you from doing what you need to do to be successful, okay? There are so many successful Black businesses out there that are 6, 7, 8, and even 9-figure business owners. We see it all the time. You have many of examples of that, okay? You have many examples of Black business owners who started from nothing and grew a brand to 6, 7, and 8 figures. And I myself have done that as well, okay? It can be done. You have so many examples of what that looks like. But what makes them different from you and them, right? Let's think about that. Is it that they're better than you? No, I wouldn't say so. Or is it the execution and application of critical business concepts that keep them successful? And so I want you to think about that for those successful brands out there. And if this is resonating so far, let me know in the comments and let me know. But is these successful Black businesses better than you personally? Or is it their application and execution of understanding certain business concepts and mindset shifts that need to be made that makes them successful? And so I want you to think about that, okay? So let me just give a disclaimer as well before we kind of get into talking about some of the things that you can do and some of the things that you need to do as a Black business owner to make sure that you are successful, okay? Let me put a disclaimer out there. I recognize several things. I recognize that the perception of being a Black business in our community can be off-putting to a lot of people in our community. We see it all the time. But let's just kind of talk about the history of this for a second, okay? If you look at the history of being a Black business back in the day, especially during a time that we call segregation, Jim Crow, even prior to that, there were plenty of successful Black businesses. Why? Because you did not have a choice but to support a Black business, because you could only support a Black business. If you wanted an attorney, it had to be a Black attorney 9 times out of 10. If you wanted to go to get your car or whatever the case may be, you had to shop with your own kind. So Black businesses during that time had no choice but to learn what it takes to have a successful business. If you look at the timing of when that is, okay? So if you were in that time, segregation, you had no choice but to support a Black business. Black businesses had no choice but to be successful, and they also had to learn how to properly run a business because, again, there was no other choice given. Now, what changed? If you can guess, put in the comments if you can guess. What changed? Where did that change for us as Black businesses when you look at that time during segregation and beforehand where Black businesses were successful at a higher rate and received greater support, and the Black dollar stayed into the Black community much longer than what it does now? What changed? Okay, this is just Fatima right here. This is just Fatima. This is not a fact. It hasn't been proven. This is what I think personally. Integration changed that. Why? Why did integration change that? Integration changed that because integration said you now have the choice to shop anywhere that you want and outside of your own community. Okay, so if you can shop outside of your own community, I don't blame them for, during that time. For many of them, they didn't have the opportunity that was afforded to them before to do that. So naturally, they started to move into other neighborhoods. They started to go to other businesses that weren't Black owned, because now there was a choice in the matter, okay? And that sort of foundation of handing businesses down to each other, and that sort of foundation of knowing what it takes to run and invest in and create a successful business started to sort of dwindle at that point, okay? And so we've talked through the facts, and we've even talked through the history, okay? And so I would be obviously off. I guess I would be off if I didn't address that. I understand the perception of us being Black businesses is off-putting. Okay, I would be, remiss if I didn't acknowledge that obviously we have a reputation in our community for having bad customer service, being unorganized, having bad attitudes, not communicating effectively with our customers, right? Being slow, having slow processing times. These are some of the things, and you can comment as well some of the things that you hear of why a lot of people say they do not support Black businesses. These are just the things that I have noted, okay? These are just the things that I have noted. But bad attitudes, unorganization, bad customer service, and obviously there's some truth to that, right? But let's keep it a buck, okay? Yes, that may be the case for a lot of us, but we already know we're not shown the same grace as our counterparts in business. What do I mean? I mean that McDonald's can mess up 30 million times, and you're going to still go back to McDonald's, and you're going to still buy from McDonald's. If you eat it, I don't. You're going to still go. You're going to still support. Walmart may have one register open, terrible customer service. You're going to still go back. You're going to still support, because why? Why is that, right? Whereas your local Sally Sue, this Black-owned business messes up one time, and now all Black businesses suck. And that's why I don't support Black businesses. So obviously perception is against us, okay? I'm not stupid. I recognize that, okay? While I don't want you to focus on the negative, we do have to acknowledge that it's there. There is a perception that is underlying there. And then let's take it a step further. And the fact of the matter is, it has been proven that we as Black people have been denied funding and loans for businesses in comparison to our counterparts, okay? It's easier for us to get a student loan than it is to get a business loan, okay? The stereotype are there because it's so hard for brands to give a chance, which can be 100%. Exactly. It is. And there's a lot to do with that. It's hard for people to support us and give us a chance, because a lot of times, again, we don't show our community the same grace that we show other communities. Okay. And so it really makes it harder. But the fact of the matter is, we know this. The facts are there. It's been proven that we get business loans at a much less rate than our counterparts. It's been proven that it's easier for us to get a student loan than it is for us to get a loan for a business. It has been proven that we don't have the same access to capital in the past as we have been, our certain life experiences, and not for all of us, but certainly for a great majority of us, we have not had the same head start as our counterparts, okay? We not starting the race at the same point. A lack of resources, a lack of sometimes education and knowledge in certain areas when it comes to investing, when it comes into business and things like that, is an issue for a lot of us in our community. Many of us are first generation to do a lot of different things, and that is a fact, okay? I'm not giving numbers and saying, well, that's not everybody, because it's not everybody. But I'm talking about a great majority of us who are going into these businesses and starting these businesses. For many of us, this is the first try at or first glance at entrepreneurship for us, okay? Right? And so we don't know what we don't know, okay? Certain life experiences have definitely put us in a certain place, right? And so we do have a lack of trust for a lot of things, especially as it pertains to the government and society as a whole, and understandably so, given the history in which we've come from, okay? So I get it. I get it. But, however, I'm not going to say but because that totally depletes what I just said. However, this thought process is actually paralyzing us and keeping us stuck and allowing us to operate our entire businesses and sometimes even life in that space of, well, I don't have a choice. This is what's against me, right? And so we oftentimes operate our businesses from a space of lack of what we did not have, lack of this, out of desperation and all of these different things. And that is keeping us stuck, right? And why is that so? Because we've been taught we haven't been taught certain principles such as investing, right? We weren't taught the importance of investing. And again, for many of us, we are first generation. And so a lot of the tools that our counterparts have been given to succeed, we just don't implement those tools because everyone around us keeps beating into our heads that if you're a black business, you won't be successful. Or if you're a black business, I'm not supporting you, right? And so what we're doing is guessing it and winging it a lot in our businesses, okay? And this lack of trust that we have in our community to really reach out and get the proper tools and resources that we should be implementing is hindering us as well. So while I understand the odds that are against us, we got to take some accountability and responsibility for our paths, because if we've seen it done before, we've seen successful black businesses make it to 6, 7, and 8, and even 9 figures, okay? It can happen for you too. But that mindset, that thought process is hindering a lot of us from being successful, okay? And so in the short answer to all of this is, do we feel like we do not have the same amount of support shown to us and that we do have to work harder to receive support in our community? Absolutely. Okay. If you agree with that, put that in the comments. Yes, we have to work harder. We have to do more. We have a target already on our back in terms of having a black businesses. And we do know that people are going to automatically discount us as a business just off the mere notion that you are a black business owner. Okay. And so, yes, we're not shown the same amount of grace as others outside of our community. However, that does not have to stop a show, okay? So I said all of that to say, and I'm trying to get to the point quicker, but this is such an important topic, I could not really leave things off, okay? We have to do our part, okay? And how do I know this? 95% of my clients have been black, and they are successful black businesses, okay? I had one client of mine recently send me a testimonial she received because she actually received a specific compliment stating from one of her customers that she got that I have purchased from black businesses before and black skincare and beauty brands before in the past, and I have never had such a great experience with them. I've never seen it so well put together and well run. I wish I could pull it up right now, but I don't even know where it's at to read the exact testimonial that she got. And that testimonial specifically stated that I don't see this often in black businesses, but I will continue to support you because I've never seen it, especially starting off out the gate, put together and ran so well. That is one of the testimonials that one of my clients received. And why is that? Because of the way that I teach and the way that I help my clients structure their businesses and the kind of deep questions that I make them ask themselves and the depths that I make them go when it comes to running their business, which can be quite uncomfortable. And one of you guys are on here is a client of mine. Many, you know how hard I am. You know, I'm tough. I do it out of love. But the way that you guys are building your businesses when you are working with me, it is not by accident. It is not off guesswork. It is because there is a method to my madness. And if the odds are already stacked up against you, I will be damned if any one of my clients that work with me and actually implement the work become a stereotype and have it harder in their business than they have to, and not be able to compete in a space with their counterparts. okay? I refuse. And so you're one of my clients is on here, and she is obviously can attest to that. You're going to think different. You're going to think bigger. You're going to think in a way that you have not thought about it before to approach a certain situation, because I do not play that. You will be successful, and you will not allow the fact that you're a black business stop you, because I have clients that are super successful, clients that are making $5K a month, $10K a month and beyond. They are making amazing. They're making money and growing their businesses, and they are black. Okay? So being black ain't got to stop no show around these parts. And so again, it hit me when my client got that testimonial herself, where her customer said, I've never experienced a black business in the way that you are well put together. And the only thing that she did different is she invested in the right tools, she invested in the right strategy, and she invested in working with me and someone to help her. So it's very possible. Okay, so we went through the history of why black businesses are in the position that we in. Yes, I acknowledge that we do not have the same amount of support. We have to work harder. We have to do more. We're not shown the same amount of grace as others outside of our community. However, that does not have to stop a show, because I have many successful clients that are following. So if you are feeling me, what I'm saying so far, go ahead and comment value if this is making sense so far, and if you're ready to hear about some of the things that you can be doing to combat this situation so that you don't end up in the same boat. Okay, so here's what you should do instead. Let's get into that. Okay, and y'all don't like to hear this, but it's true. Thank you for letting me know. Y'all don't like to hear this, but it's true. I done got hot. Cut this heat off. Okay, so the first thing is you need to invest. It's all going to go down to investing, okay? Investing in learning the tools and resources, okay? This is what our counterparts are doing. Trust me, they are paying $10K, $5K, and beyond to be in certain programs and to be in different spaces and to learn a certain wealth of knowledge. The knowledge is not the same at that level. Trust me. Invest in being in those rooms. Invest in being in those spaces. But what's happening is a lot of us are not investing because we've been burned before. We're not investing because we have unaddressed thought processes surrounding money. And we haven't been taught the importance of investing in our businesses as a community because of our trust issues and the things that we have went through before, okay? And so then you have people telling you, just get you some Google and YouTube and freebies and freebie your way out of everything. And that is setting us up for failure, leaving us even more behind, because that stuff will only work to a certain point, okay? It does not work for certain things, especially structure, especially to set your business up right. It will only take you so far. And when you're not in those rooms and in those certain spaces and you're not networking and doing these different things, you are leaving out a lot of opportunities and money on the table. And so for many of us, we aren't taught the importance of it. So we invest in all the wrong things because of our lack of trust, right? I don't trust that this person can help me. I don't trust that they're not going to scam me. Well, you know what? I've been burned before, but it never stopped me from getting back up on the horse and doing it again. But that's because many of us operate from a space of desperation and scarcity, and we stop ourselves from making the moves that we need to make. And so because of this, we're not hearing information we need to be hearing sometimes. We're not in certain rooms. I'm telling you, it's a different level when you start investing in knowledge and investing in and getting help and resources and tools. It makes a big difference what you will learn at that level, okay? So that's number one, okay? Number two, invest in your brand. Okay, let me keep it all the way real with us. Many of us, especially as black businesses, and listen, we're not talking about white businesses. I don't know what they're doing per se. I'm telling you what I know. I'm speaking to my community today, but a lot of us are half-assing our brands. What do I mean by half-assing our brands? We don't put a lot of effort into the look, the feel of our brand. We don't put a lot of effort into identifying our brand, making it clear our position. We don't put a lot of work, and we're downplaying the importance of investing in your brand, okay? In quality logos, websites, not even just that, but in understanding our brand at the core. We are half-assing that. We are guessing. We are just putting stuff together, and we don't know who we're serving and how we're serving them and what we want to do and how we want to do it. And so we just putting some stuff together, throwing it out there and trying to see what sticks. And then we see that it doesn't stick. And then we say, see, don't nobody want to support me, right? Major difference when you open up your mind to doing the work as opposed to wanting that quick fix. And this is where you have most definitely came in for me. Exactly. That is another thing, right? Half-assing it, wanting quick fixes and quick results is messing us up every single time. And so we are downplaying the importance of this, right? We're letting people suggest things that is just half-assed, right? And we are not understanding that if you're going to there's things that you can take shortcuts on, but your brand is not one of them. Okay, your knowledge and resources is not one of them. Okay, and so you got people out here telling you to just, this is quick and half-assed, and we want the quick money and we want the quick money, right? And that's messing us up. So that's number 2. The number 3 is investing in systems and tools to make your business efficient. You want every free system and software out there. You cannot operate that way for forever with every free tool and system and software. It is free for a reason, okay? And so we've been taught to take the shortcuts out of everything, to do things manually. Hustle culture has taught us that if we not going too hard and working too hard and doing things the long way, we have it really bad in our community that we feel like if we don't struggle, that it wasn't worth it. If we don't struggle, that somehow we didn't deserve it or earn it. And that is a mindset issue, because we do deserve it. We do deserve everything. We deserve ease. We deserve these things as well that our counterparts have. And so we don't even invest in making our business efficient. No system is perfect. My system messes up all the time, but I have one, right? And so you need to be investing in automating that. How can you make sure that you don't miss something with your potential customers? How can you make sure that communication, if we know that communication is an issue that a lot of people say they have with Black businesses, why you gonna make it even easier for them to say you don't communicate? Why you gonna make it easier for them to say that you're not organized, right? Because you don't have a system and process and policies and all of these things in place that says, if this happened, then this happens. Okay? And so you've got to invest in those systems and tools to make your business efficient. And we have been taught to take the shortcut out of it, that you don't need to pay for that, to go the cheap route. And that is hindering us. You should absolutely be investing in making ways for your business to work and operate efficiently. And systems and tools make that happen. One of the reasons why my client got the results in the testimonial that she got for her brand is because we literally teach you and work with you on building out a system. I call it a marketing machine. And that is because, guess what? Everybody's going to get communicated with. Everybody's going to hear from you. Everybody's going to get something. They're not going to miss anything. They will be communicated with. We teach customer service, right? You gotta have it, but you can't have it without systems and processes and tools in place. And so what makes more sense? Do you want to wait for somebody to manually give you everything and you got to wait for someone to DM you and respond back to you to place an order? Or would you rather go to the person where you can go online at 3 o'clock in the morning, if you will, place an order right then when you're up in the mood shopping, and then know that they're going to get an email automatically, they're going to get communicated with automatically, that they're going to wait, you're going to wake up to that order and you have a process and procedure in which you're going to process that order and ship it out. You know what to do and when. You're efficient. You've thought through your supply chain and how that works, right? You've thought about where your product comes from, the timing of it. You've thought through those things because you don't half-ass it. And so why not invest in systems, in tools, and a process to make it efficient for you and your potential customer? And that is where we are missing the mark. As a community, this is where we are a little bit behind. We're investing all of our money and resources into the wrong solutions, into the wrong things, when these three are critical: systems, your brand, knowledge, tools, and resources. That is top three where your money should be investing first, priority, okay? Lastly, we're not investing in customer experiences. Okay, this goes back to systems to make it easier, but what can you do to make your potential customers' experience a grand one? Like, I want you to think about this. Okay, think about the brand that you shop with, especially one of our counterparts. Think about why you go back to that brand over and over again. What is the experience that they're giving you? Is that experience enough to keep you coming back? How can you provide one of those experiences in your own business? But if you are not investing in your customer having an amazing experience with you, you're missing the mark. So we already talked about it. As a Black business, they already expect you to screw up all of these different things. Okay? And that's real. They expect you to fuck up. They expect you to not get it right. They expect a bad experience. Why not go above and beyond if you know that and anticipate that, and actually invest in your business properly to make sure that, one, they have an amazing experience. Two, you have systems that make it flow. Three, your brand looks like a brand worth investing in. Your brand is clear. It's clear who you serve. It's clear your messaging. It's clear who you are communicating to. Because if you don't have that, you are not going to get support. Invest in a mentor, a coach, consultant, course, whatever you got to invest in at that time to set you up for success. And so if you already know it is against you, you need to be ahead of the game in making sure that you give your customers an amazing experience and that it flows from beginning to end. That when you mess up, you apologize to your customers, that you communicate with your customers, okay? Because if you don't get this, and if you don't have this right, when you mess up, let's think about it like this. For instance, let's think about Chick-fil-A. There's a meme that goes around that says, you know what? Even when Chick-fil-A mess up my order, I just think, you know what? That's God's plan. Why is Chick-fil-A able to get away with things when they finally do mess up? Why? Because they are already giving efficiency, great service, communication. They have a flow, they have a system, they have a process. And so, because they are consistent with that great service, because they obviously have invested in tools and systems and things to operate in that way for them, when they are consistent all the time, when you do mess up, guess what? People will say, you know what? I'll show them more grace, because they never mess up. It's really rare that I've had a bad experience with them. Now you're more forgivable because you've built a brand reputation. But many of us are not getting to that point where we're building a clear brand reputation because we are not doing this work and we're skipping this. And I get it. We don't know what we don't know. But now that you know better, do better. Okay? Do better. So that is how you can build that brand loyalty, because if you implement all of these different things, when you mess up, because shit happens, people will forgive you a little bit more. They're not going to hold it against your business as a whole and say, They're going to say, you know what? Things happen. They usually are pretty on point. So I'm going to address it with them and move on. But what's happening is people aren't even addressing it with you. They're just not shopping with you again. And now you're wondering why you don't have repeat customers, because they didn't address it with you. Why? Because in their mind, they already felt like, I knew she was going to mess up anyway. That's the real truth. I knew she was going to mess up anyway. So it ain't no point in me even. I'm just not going to shop with her again. And you wondering why you're not getting high retention rates and why people aren't returning to buy from you again. Because of their experience. You really proved them right. And when you mess up, guess what happens? They don't even trust you enough to know that there's an opportunity to say, hey, XYZ company, this is wrong. I ordered this, I ordered that. And then you address the issue head on and give them great customer service, and you build trust. We're not building trust. We're in our egos. We don't want to invest in the right things. Okay. And then the last thing that we want to take out of it, just my final notes as for Black businesses, is take your emotions out of this so much, right? If you know that it's against you, just work harder and focus on doing the right things that will create a strong brand, that will attract repeat customers, that will have people wanting to buy from you again and tell their friends. And you do this in all the 4 ways that I talked about what you should be investing in, okay? And so take your emotions out of it. If it's something that went wrong, be woman enough to address it. I have to do it all the time. I apologize, my system didn't send you the email that you were supposed to get. We're going to get on that, okay? Under promise and over deliver. Okay, you want to go above and beyond. So that requires a level of you taking out your emotions and saying, yes, let me just be clear. There's a balance between having emotions in your business and not having emotions. Obviously, it's your business. You built it. You're emotionally attached to your business, right? I'm not taking that away, right? However, you can't be so emotionally attached that you don't step outside of yourself and say, what do I need to do to make sure that this customer, it's about having a servant mindset, a servitude, an attitude of servitude. When you go into business, you go into business to serve. And if you don't have this servitude attitude, like many people in our community don't have, a lot of them have entitlement. You should support me just because I'm a Black business, when you got to understand, you got to give them a reason to. You know what I'm saying? And so we got to get outside of that emotional space, that space of lack, space of desperation. Exactly. It's made by you, but it's not for you. Exactly. It is not for you. You go into business to serve and to serve others. And if you have a problem with that, do not go into business. Period. Because you are there to serve, which means you have to let go of your ego that says I have to always be right. Okay. And so that is a part of it. You are there to serve. You are there to give a great experience. You are there to solve someone's problem. So you got to step outside of yourself and be willing to do that. And that means stop worrying about what they say about Black businesses and if they're going to support, and focus on those that you can attract with a clear understanding of who you want to attract and how you will do that for them and how you will give them a great experience. Focus on that. Let go of all the other noise. Let go of this person don't support me. Oh, I'm a Black business. Oh, I'm a little Black business. I'm just a little Black business. Don't nobody want me. That's what a lot of people are doing. Right? Like, that's what a lot of people are doing. You know, support me because I'm a Black business. Well, you haven't given me anything to support. Well, you should still support me because I'm a Black business. Well, it don't look like you support your own business. Well, now I'm mad because nobody supports Black businesses and people don't want to support me. And now you're crying over that. When you could take that same energy and put that into your business and put that into making sure your business is a great business that gives people an experience, and forget all that other stuff. Period. Because you keep operating from that space, you're going to forever stay a small business. Period. And that's not the goal for many of you. All right? And that is what separates those that are successful in Black businesses from those who aren't. Okay? And then another thing, again, is being accountability. being accountable, and not being afraid to take accountability. I mess up all the time in my business, but I'm very upfront about when it happens. You know what? That was on me. I apologize for that. I will do better. When someone gives me feedback, I consider it. If it makes sense, I'm implementing new ways of doing things. If people are I'm always thinking about new ways to improve my business and the experience that people get. Hell, every Wednesday I'm on a call with my team and we're talking about what went well, what didn't go so well. How can we fix this? What can we do to implement making this a better process? Are you doing that? I'm not focused on who's supporting me or not. I don't care. I'm not. I'm focused on who I am here to serve. Okay? And that's the same for many of my other clients. One of my other clients straight up said that literally the reason why she was able to make over $7,000 in the month of November, that was her first 4-figure month. The reason why she was able to do that is because she implemented all of these things. But she said the biggest thing was she had to get out of her head. And I talked to her, and when she first came, she was very stubborn. She did not want to change anything. She did not want to do anything differently. She wanted everything to be quick, right? And so when we broke through those barriers, she was able to finally, going into Black Friday, she went into Black Friday with already $6,800, and she wasn't running a single sale. She didn't have a single sale or discount, because I don't recommend discounting right before Black Friday, right? Going into Black Friday, she ended up making another $1,500. So she made, basically it was a little over $8,000 in the month of November. Okay. This is somebody who went from making $500 in a month or less. That was a good month for her. The only thing that changed is what we are talking about. But the biggest thing that she told me was, Coach, you were right about my mindset. I had to step outside of me to implement this information. And so that is why it's so important for you to do that. That is why it's so important for you to implement these things that we talked about today and step outside of yourself. And I think that that is a big downfall in our community, is that not a lot of people are willing to do that. And I don't blame us in a way per se, because we just have not had a lot of good examples of that. But now that you know better, do better. So if you are a business and you are a Black business, especially a Black beauty brand or e-commerce brand for sure, and you are looking for how to implement these things, how to get those results that my clients are getting, how to get it to where you have people telling you, wow, I've never had an experience like this with a Black business, especially one that's not a huge retailer. Like, wow. And then you have people wanting to come back and buy from you time and time again, and you get those repeat customers, then you need to be on my line. You need to schedule a discovery call with me, and let's talk about how we can do this. It is time for you to do something different. Yes, because that was me. I didn't realize that until you broke it down to me in our last call. Exactly. Like, that is a lot of people, Minnie. It's not just you. A lot of people. And you're learning this because we're working together now. You're in the program, and so you are a client. But yes, when I break it down, it makes it a lot easier for you guys to grasp it. So I'm glad that you acknowledge that, because you are someone who will be another success story for me as long as you continue to open your mind. And so if you are a Black business and you are struggling with any of the things that we just talked about, because we went there, we went all the way real today. Okay. And if that's you, it's time for you to invest in the right strategy. It's time for you to invest in making sure that you have people coming back to you time and time again, and to where being a Black business is totally irrelevant to the success that you have in your business. Okay. Build out the system. Get it right. Let's stop giving them a reason to say, this is why I don't support Black businesses. Okay. Let's start thinking bigger. Let's start expanding the way we think, expanding the way that we approach our businesses, because unfortunately we know that we're behind in comparison to our overall counterparts. So if you know that, let's not give them a reason. Let's not give them another reason. So you need to be on my call if that is you. You need to be on my calendar because you can be getting these same results, right? Exactly, getting rid of the stereotypes. Exactly. You could be getting the same results. And Minnie has already been on here talking about how her mindset has already started to shift since she started working with me and understanding the why behind my madness, okay? And so she is just another example of what I mean by if you expand your mind and invest in that, where you could go. So you need to be on my calendar. You need to click that link in my bio and you need to book a discovery call with me and let's talk. And if you want to hear a little bit more about how we do this first, go ahead and click that link in my bio. It's a little ghetto, so you're going to have to refresh the link first for it to pop all the way up sometimes. You can also watch my free training. It is a mini series. It's 5 short videos and it explains and breaks down to you how this works for you, my entire process. And then at the end, it talks to you about exactly how I do this and how I make this work with my clients. And again, 95% of my clients have been Black and they have been quite successful. So it ain't got to stop no show. So that's that. So if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a DM, but I really want you to click that link and be on my calendar. So with that said, I will see y'all next week to really talk about another topic. This one was sensitive and this one was time consuming because I had to go there today. It needed to be said, it needed to be addressed. Because I feel like a lot of Black people aren't going as hard in their businesses as they should and as they could. And a lot of Black businesses aren't seeing the success that they absolutely could see that's available to them, that's possible for them because of these barriers right here surrounding investing in their businesses and in the resources that we need to achieve that. So I'll see y'all next week. Get on my calendar now. She said, get on Fatima's calendar. For those who watching the replay and won't see this comment, get on Fatima's calendar. Trust me, it's worth it if you're serious about your business. That's one of my clients, y'all. She already getting it. She already seeing what we do and how different it is than anything else that she's tried. So you need to be on my calendar if you're serious. So I'll see y'all next week. Y'all have a good one.